Welcome to Recently Logged, where this week we're going to talk about why we were gone for a month. Again.
In terms of podcast, there was no
podcast. Wow. We took a vacation and we didn't do anything the week before or the week after, really.
Right.
So
and it was like a full on vacation.
Yeah,
So
it was
we were just completely thrown off. And then in February we were fully planning on starting back.
I was about to say, when we got back, not only did I have a lot to do, Micah had a lot more to do than usual.
Oh yeah, I had a bunch of work. I mean, I had a bunch of work before we left. I couldn't record on like the Monday before.
Yeah, exactly.
We left. So yeah, we've just been really busy.
We've just been kind of vibing, but not really vibing because we've been really busy.
I mean, I'm still really busy, and I got a play coming up and all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh,
so
I got so much editing to do.
But speaking of which, in all of that time, we have still been watching a bunch of movies.
We've been too busy to record, but we've had enough time to watch like 300 movies.
So we're gonna talk about the movies that we watched.
Yes, we are.
Which is a lot, because we're going from the 17th of January to now,
to this very date, February 21st. So
which that's a lot of days if you know math.
It's just about a month, Micah, if you can even believe it. But yeah, here we go, I guess.
Yeah, let's get into it. So I can't even remember like what I was doing the 17th of January.
In January?
I don't remember what was happening.
That was
in
a
January.
lifetime ago.
That was practically years ago.
Wow.
But to start off, we'll probably, since there's so many, only like really talk about ones we've both seen.
Yeah, ones we both watched together.
But we'll mention all of the ones that we watched separately.
Indeed.
It's just a lot of stuff in general.
A lot of stuff.
Starting off for me on the 17th, I watched Tombstone again.
Indeed you did.
This was my first time rewatching Tombstone. And like, it's a weird movie. Performances are outstanding. The
Indeed.
pacing is not. So it's kind of like so up in the air for me, because I think like especially Val Kilmer's performance is one of my favorite performances in like any movie ever.
So good in that.
And then the movie is just kind of okay.
I came into the room for like 2 scenes, and he's so good.
He's doing outstanding, and even what's his name, Kurt Russell or whatever.
Yeah, Kurt Russell.
Even his performance is really good in it. But I gave it 3.5. It's very good. I very enjoy it.
I very enjoy it.
I very much enjoy it. Yes.
Yes.
But it's just kind of long.
It is very much so. To my memory, anyway. I didn't watch it with you. That same day-ish, kind of, it was really late, I watched an Adult Swim Small called When You Die. And it talks all about how when you die, the animals are going to come for you. But it's literally just like 2 minutes long. It's pretty good though. I don't know, if you want to check it out. And then the next day, the 18th, we watched Phantom Thread
for the very
first time,
which I've been itching to give a rewatch ever since.
I know, right? Like it was, oh man. I mean, we've been on something of a Paul Thomas Anderson kick. I've been on something of a Paul Thomas Anderson kick ever since like There Will Be Blood. I keep wanting to watch more of his movies.
Yeah, but like just in this course of like a couple months, we watched like Licorice Pizza, Phantom Thread. I'm pretty sure we watched There Will Be Blood not that long ago.
Yeah, we rewatched it. Yeah.
And Robbie watched Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, Punch Drunk Love.
And but anyway, Phantom Thread is absolutely freaking outstanding.
It's so good. It's
Phantom Thread might be one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Or probably.
It's definitely my new favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie, even over Licorice Pizza, which we'll talk about later, and There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
It's outstanding, man. The way everything that it's doing, its score is one of the most beautiful movie scores I've ever seen. The story is so interesting. The performances are just outstanding. It looks beautiful.
It's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I don't know what I expected. I've given every single movie I've seen of his 5 stars. So, but I mean, Phantom Thread in particular is just like an extremely, maybe even more so than There Will Be Blood. It's just an extremely technically well-made movie.
Yeah, I think There Will Be Blood is much like is still I think what I think is like his peak in control of everything movie.
Definitely, yeah.
But this movie is so much more elegant in feeling
Exactly.
and yet still pulls off that really tight filmmaking.
Exactly, yeah.
That it's insane to behold. And I don't know, man. Like the characters are so much fun to watch, and like I don't know. This was good. This was really good.
PTA's cinematography is giving me life.
my review, the top of my review is just she did nothing wrong.
She did nothing wrong. Oh no. But yeah, we both really enjoyed Phantom Thread. Definitely
5 out of 5.
Definitely
for
give
sure.
it a watch if you're old enough to.
Yeah.
It is rated R.
Whoa.
Viewer discretion.
So's Tombstone.
So is Tombstone, yeah.
Also viewer discretion. I did not watch something until the 20th, so...
Okay, I watched a couple things. I've been trying to watch, like, an Adult Swim Small or an episode of TV every night before I go to bed just to expand my film horizons. So I watched the My Best Friend trilogy on the night of the 18th, which was, I mean, it's an Adult Swim Small series of shorts called... there's, like, My Best Friend Explodes, Rewinds, and Ends. They were pretty cool, very British, but they were fun. Give them a watch if you want to. And then I don't know if I watched this before. I guess I did. I guess late in the 19th, I watched Use Cups and Use Tantrum, which are both Joseph Pelling shorts, one of the creators of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I've been trying to watch more of his stuff in recent years. And they were both really good. Use Tantrum is one of my favorite short films now, so, I mean, I guess he doesn't miss.
And then also on the night of the 19th, I forgot that this was that night, we watched it really late. We watched an indie movie called Fear of Rain.
Fear of Rain? I did not watch it.
Which there were some fine things about. The way it handles mental illness yet again kind of sucks. But there were still some decent elements, and it had that one guy.
It had that guy.
It had that guy.
That guy.
I like that guy.
Hey, look, it's that guy. I like that guy. Oh my god.
He was still good at it.
Why do we know this guy?
I give it 2.5.
That's really funny.
I probably would never watch it again.
Aw. Sad times. I also watched, I assume this was the next night, actually, Jack Stober's The Future, which is like a short little thing that's on YouTube that you can log. It's very, very good. If you ever get the chance, do check it out. Check out all of Jack Stober's work, though. He's great.
Outstanding guy.
Exactly.
On the 20th, I watched Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11? I caught like 20 minutes of it.
Whilst I was working, and very, very good. I don't know what to say. It's just a certified classic.
We're gonna do an episode on it someday. I love it so much.
There are only a few problems I have with the movie in general. It's being way more creative than like any other movie you'll ever watch ever. And the visuals look outstanding. The cast is great. It's a fantastic heist. Goob movie.
Great movie, even.
I gave it 4.5 stars.
Yeah, and then that night we watched Hotel Transylvania rewatch, baby.
Yeah, it had been forever since we had seen
It's
it.
been a while.
And like my girlfriend was over, and we were like, "Well, what are we gonna watch? What are we gonna watch?" And then we were like, "Oh, we'd been wanting to rewatch Hotel Transylvania, but it's probably not on anything
because it's never streaming on anything."
And then it was streaming.
It was streaming on something. So we watched it, and I'm a huge Gennady Tarkovsky fan, so I loved this.
Yeah.
I kind of figured I would. Like, I liked it as a kid, but like revisiting it, like a lot of his visual style and charm and the way he makes characters move really carries over surprisingly well in 3D.
Yeah, from what I understand, that was one of like the biggest things that they worked so hard on was getting all of the 3D character designs to fit how he wanted them to, because he still wanted them to essentially have like 2D slapstick comedy, but in a 3D space, which is extremely hard to pull off. Gosh. And he did it.
It works so well.
And this movie also looks really good,
dude. Adam Sandler's at the peak of his game. Even
I'm very curious to watch the rest of them. There's still some stuff I don't like about it.
Yeah, there's some annoying stuff in here, but the world is really inventive. The comedy works. The cast is fun. It's just a fun movie. Yeah, good stuff.
Good movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
I also gave it a 4 out of 5. I didn't even mention Phantom Thread score. I gave it a 10 out of 10. Wow. It was really good.
Well, you said you've given every Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah. I indirectly said it, but yes.
Then on the 21st, excuse me. The morning of the 21st, we watched Underworld
for
the first time.
Guys, do I have to see World before I can see Underworld? Will the plot make sense?
Underworld was cool.
Yeah.
Underworld was fun.
Yeah. That's it.
My biggest problem, I think it has a lot of problems, but my biggest standout problem from watching it was that it was way too long and paced horribly in that length. This movie could have been an hour and a half easily.
This could have been an email.
And my review was it really seems like Lucian was the good part of the war.
Oh my gosh, dude, the villain in this movie, I swear.
The villain seems like he has better, more honest motivation than any of the heroes.
Right? No, Underworld is cool, heavily Matrix inspired, very obviously. Which is cool. It doesn't always do that in a derivative way. It adds some interesting angles to what the Matrix was doing, but outside of that, it's just kind of a fun, dumb action movie. And the vampire werewolf thing, everyone complains about why are they using guns and swords and stuff? They're vampires. I don't know. Get over it. It's
weird.
Fun.
It's
cool.
Fun though. Fashion is up there.
That's true. That's very true.
Then later that same day, we decided to go to the movies. And that was a great decision, actually. And we went and watched Licorice Pizza.
Yeah, we did.
Great movie to see in the theaters.
I already talked about it a little bit back when I watched it for the first time, I'm pretty sure.
Cannot recommend seeing this in theaters enough.
It's so good, man. I've been trying. I wanted to get Micah to see it after I watched it.
This is a rated R movie. It's even probably less clean than Phantom Thread. Severe discretion advised.
Yeah, severe discretion advised.
But man, it's a weird movie. I will say it's a very weird movie because Robbie described it like this, and I described it like this when I came out. You come out of watching it in theaters, and you're kind of like, huh. That was interesting.
That was interesting, exactly.
But you don't really know what you think. This is a movie that bakes in your mind.
I really don't know, man.
It literally only gets better every time I think about it, and I think that's crazy.
I was about to say, even more so than other PTA films, this has marinated in my brain a lot after watching it for the first time. Punch Drunk Love, obviously, I think is the greatest example of that because it's my new favorite movie now, but we'll get to that. But Licorice Pizza has this way of getting into my brain. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, there's something so unassuming about the way it approaches storytelling and the story that it has in general, and something so electric about the filmmaking, and even just the way the universe, the world that the movie presents is. It's just so nice to watch. And not a whole lot happens. A lot happens, but in terms of actual plot, not a whole lot happens in the movie, but it works only to the movie's benefit. Exactly. And the only complaint I've heard, and I will kind of agree with this slightly, but not enough that it really took away from my enjoyment, the only complaint that I've really heard about it from people I trust is that its ending feels a little rushed. And I could see that.
I could see that. It doesn't feel
but
rushed
I don't know.
to me,
I felt like that rushedness was kind of the natural conclusion to their kind of interesting relationship.
Yeah, no, like I could see it feeling a little rushed to some people, but it doesn't really feel that way to me. I gave it a 10 out of 10. Good
One of the nicest looking movies I've ever seen.
I said it with Fandom Thread, Micah, and I'll say it here. PTA is a darn good cinematographer.
10 out of 10. Though honestly, I think he could only do cinematography for his own movies.
Yeah, I wonder how he would do, just like not directing or producing or anything like that, just being a cinematographer. I'd be interested.
Then later that night, we disappointed Luke. I'm sorry, Luke.
I'm sorry, Luke. If you're listening,
it was just not good. Eternals.
We watched Marvel Studios' The Eternals. Which I think my review for this was, Robbie Grawey, have now seen Marvel Studios' The Eternals. Because that's basically how I feel about it.
I saw somebody talking about it too, how it was like 90% of the runtime is a bunch of the least human characters you'll ever watch talk about humanity in a philosophical, yeah, if I could speak, philosophical way. Yeah. And it is the least interesting thing you'll ever watch.
Actually, that's like the one, other than like some occasionally nice cinematography, it's kind of incoherent in a lot of other visual ways, but at least it looks nice. But like, what were you talking about? You were talking about
how 90% of the movie is just them talking.
I was gonna say that was like one of the few things that really stood out as a positive for me. I liked a lot of the general discussion monologue stuff that they did. I thought it was more interesting than a lot of Marvel movies.
I liked some of the conflict in it, but I never really liked a whole lot of like the actual like points and discussion.
Yeah, no, I mean it gets pretty tedious pretty fast.
Yeah, really the only thing keeping me through any of the discussion and tension and anything was I still don't know how to pronounce his last name.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Barry
I have no clue how to pronounce his last name.
Kyogen?
That sounds right. That's more correct than what I was about to say.
Outstanding actor, and man, he's just so much fun to watch on screen every time I've seen him. And like the difference in like conflict that he brings to the movie is so much more interesting than any of the actual like main plot conflict that happens in the movie. Like, and this movie is what? It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something.
Something like that, yeah.
It's so long, and it doesn't have the substance to hold up for that.
Yeah, I honestly would love to see, like, I don't know, hour, 40-minute cut of this, even shorter maybe, and just cut it down, or at least just condense everything into the most interesting parts, because there's a lot good here, but it just gets very watered down over the entire runtime.
Quite frankly, I enjoy it. I like elements of it a lot more than most Marvel movies, because I think it's trying to do something unique and interesting.
Definitely.
But at the same time, it's just so boring, and the conflict kind of sucks, and most of the character conflict kind of sucks.
No, at the end of the day, really, I actually love a lot of stuff about this movie, but at the end of the day, the, like, actual main plot conflict just doesn't really work for me, and I have trouble getting behind the movie.
And I'll talk about this for a second too, because this is ridiculous to me. So we come into this movie and they're like, it's the first Marvel movie with a sex scene since Iron Man. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
But they did it with like the absolute worst. I don't understand. They picked it with the couple that's not together anymore and that will not get back together by the end of the movie.
I still think it's so funny.
Why did they choose that?
I'm so sorry to anyone who that is a meaningful scene to, but it just made me laugh.
We were just laughing through the whole thing because we knew it was going to be in it, and we were sitting there and they were like, we used to be lovers or something like that. I was like,
flashback.
And I was like, they're not going to do it here. They're not going to do it here. And then they cut to it and I was like, no.
See, the thing is, like we mentioned, it's basically watching a bunch of robots for like 2.5 hours. So it's just very weird vibes, very awkward vibes. I did not like it very much.
Yeah, no.
Not just the sex scene, but like the vibes in general.
Yeah. But the sex scene was like hilariously badly placed.
Yeah, no, not great. But yeah, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I didn't think it was bad. I liked it a little bit, but not a lot.
I give it a 5 out of 10.
Well, there you go.
Or a 2.5.
2.5.
No.
Then we watched.
We watched One Froggy Evening.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
We don't have to give a story to One Froggy Evening.
I was in the middle of editing, and I was like, "Yo, you know what sounds really great right
Robbie,
now?
it's One Froggy
One
Evening.
Froggy Evening." So if you've never watched One
Robbie,
Froggy
we don't need to go into One Froggy Evening.
I was just gonna say, go watch One Froggy Evening if you have not seen it. It is a masterclass in comedic bits.
We have so many movies
in
to
animation.
get through. And Robbie's talking about One Froggy Evening.
It's so good. I give it a 10 out of 10.
It's fantastic, but move on.
Okay. Then on the 22nd, we watched The Never-Ending Story for the first time.
Yeah.
It was good.
Oh yeah, it was
great.
Yeah, man, I would say great.
I would say great.
It was good.
Yeah.
It had great production design.
Yes. Everything. Great looking movie.
It had a cool idea for the story.
It had a very cool idea.
But it never really worked for me.
Aw.
Like
I wouldn't say it worked like fully, but I think it worked.
The ending I thought
good.
was a cool idea, but like I feel like it could have been executed so much better, and I never got really anything emotional out of the movie. That being said, it's a pretty darn well made movie. Like the production design and the story, and like I love the way the movie looks.
I thought this is what you wanted from fantasy movies, Micah.
It has a lot of what I want from fantasy movies. I just don't take like Return to Oz.
Return to Oz.
I think
baby.
Return to Oz had a more interesting story than this.
This would make a great double feature with Return to Oz.
It'd make a fantastic.
Okay,
double
I need to put that in my double
Oz.
features list. That would be so much fun. But yeah. The dragon puppet, Micah.
I still really liked it though.
The troll, the rock troll puppet, the wolf puppet. It all looks so good.
Yeah, I guess that my only problems with it are in writing, and I just wish it was written differently.
That makes sense, I guess. I mean, like, I had some problems with how it was structured, and a few of it, like, its ending bits are a little weird, but, like, I think outside of that, it's pretty much flawless. I loved the performances, I loved the effects, production design, everything looks great.
I put in my review for it. The structure and pacing are not all the dialogue scenes and scene-to-scene pacing are really that good either, but it's not too bad while you're watching it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Apparently we separated for a few movies, Micah. Cause
I went over to Haley's house.
Ah, that's why.
And I'll just do those real quick.
Yeah.
Rewatched The House. Showed it to Haley for the first time. She really liked it.
Ayo.
It's really good. It's
great.
really fun.
My favorite of the year so far.
Stop motion.
Oh,
my
man.
favorite of the year so far. She also liked the second one best. 'Cause
Yes,
it's the best one.
The second segment is the best segment, and it's not even close.
She found it creepy, which is good. And then after that,
creepy.
we had a hankering for more cinema.
More cinema.
So we watched Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed.
The people are demanding more cinema.
Which she covered my eyes during the Who's Your Mommy scene.
Oh my gosh, dude,
Just
that
because
scene is gold.
I kept joking about it, and she was like, "No, you don't get to watch."
Wow.
Man, what a fantastic movie. I'm gonna be honest, Scooby-Doo 2 has a bad rep, but it's so good actually.
I genuinely don't know which one I prefer.
Like
if I had to pick
the
between
first one, the first
second one.
one's got great energy, but
Yeah.
I think its plot is kind of
yeah, plot so.
The second one, I think, is actually good in most rights. It just has some interesting, it has some blah jokes and a little bit of blah pacing.
I was about to say, not all the jokes hit me as well in the second one, but it is a lot more competently written than the first one.
Written by James Gunn.
James Gunn, the man.
I give it 4
myth.
stars, 4 out of 5. So good. I love it.
Wow.
I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan, and like I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, you either like the animated Scooby-Doo or the live-action Scooby-Doo."
Why not both?
But why not both? I love this cast so much.
Well, while you guys were experiencing cinema for the very first time, I was experiencing Punch Drunk Love for the very first time. I had been wanting to see Punch Drunk Love ever since I saw, I Guess There Will Be Blood. I mean, I wanted to see, like, basically all of Paul Thomas Anderson's filmography.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I said basically all. But Punch Drunk Love is now my new favorite movie. A little applause in the audience.
Relationship with Naomi Blood is over. Punch Drunk Love is my new favorite movie.
Exactly. Man, every Paul Thomas Anderson movie I watch, I'm like, is this possibly my new favorite movie now? Probably. But yeah, apparently the guy just makes movies that I really enjoy.
He makes fantastic movies from what I've seen.
And Punch Drunk Love, technically, I think perfect movie. It's really more of a mood piece than
it's really more of a mood.
Okay, you know what? It's really more of a mood piece than like something like There Will Be Blood or Phantom Thread is, which Phantom Thread does lean more into that. But Punch Drunk Love is very non-linear at times and very. It's a lot more abstract than a lot of other PTA films I've seen, and I really appreciate that. I think it's executed very well. Sound design's great. John Bryan's score is an all-timer. It's so good. The cinematography's great. The whole thing it's great. I didn't know Adam Sandler had it at him, honestly. He's rocking it in this. But yeah.
Adam Sandler is a fantastic
He's
actor.
So good. He's so good at this. Why did he go from this to making 8 Crazy Nights? That movie sucks so hard. But yeah, Punch Drunk Love, I adore it with my entire being.
His entire being.
Go watch it if you're old enough to watch it. I love it. And then we watched
Ocean's 13.
Ocean's 13.
For the first time. We'd watched
the next
12. We'd watched 11. Now we watched 13, which 13 was quite a bit more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because I remembered not really liking 12.
Yeah, that's the thing. I keep seeing more and more people say they love 12, and I just remembered not really being that into it when I watched it. But I do want to give it another try one of these days.
Yeah, and Ocean's 13, I think, had like a way more fun set piece than 12.
Yeah.
And man, it's just doing so much fun.
Yeah.
Like it's goofier but so is 12.
I was about to say Soderbergh just seems to want to make fun little heist movies, and I think we should all let him just keep making fun little heist movies.
Make another one, man. Make another one. Not Ocean specifically, just another fun little heist movie.
But yeah, 13, it has a much more cohesive heist than 12. 12 is really more of a hangout movie than anything.
Right.
But I loved Ocean's 13. I loved Ruben in Ocean's 13.
I loved Linus in
Ocean's 13.
Loved Rusty in Ocean's 13.
The gang's all here.
The gang is all here.
And
that
good.
guy with the sandwich is here.
The guy with the sandwich.
Shout out to that guy with the sandwich.
Dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I have like very few complaints about this movie.
It's great.
It's not the greatest written thing in the world.
No.
It's not the greatest paced thing in the world. But it's just the gang having fun in a really fun heist.
Yeah.
It's goofier, it's bigger, the stakes are higher, and that's all we really needed from Ocean's 13.
Yeah, I loved it. Good stuff.
I gave it 3.5.
I gave it an 8 out of 10, Micah.
Then we watched Kubrick Stanley's Paths of Glory for the first time.
Wow, if you could even believe it.
Which I'm not a big Stanley Kubrick
Film
fan.
classic, Micah.
He makes great movies, but I just don't really like Stanley Kubrick or his style that much from what I've seen.
I was about to say, the man I can understand not liking. He's very troublesome in his practices, but I think his style and just general film prowess is enough for me to like love his work at the very least.
Stylistically, I've never really like loved his films.
That makes sense, I guess.
Even like because obviously I can separate my enjoyment
he very clearly has a
my
style.
Movies away from like
art
what I
from
think
the
of the
artist,
man.
Micah, yeah.
And like his movies are fun sometimes. Like I don't know. It's just not really something I'm into.
Just doesn't hit.
But that being said, Paths of Glory was freaking outstanding.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I finally got around to this.
I loved Paths of Glory.
I steered clear from it for the longest time because I don't like just straight up war movies. But luckily for me, for my personal crybaby preferences, this wasn't just a war movie.
I have one complaint. One singular complaint about the whole movie. I wanted the courtroom scene to be longer.
Right. Just a little bit longer.
But man, like the
Oh,
performances and the writing and the story.
The editing too.
The
man.
edited, like this movie is just genuinely outstanding.
Yeah. No.
And it's another one of them anti-war movies
We love to see it.
that is showing that war is really freaking awful on all sides.
Right.
There's no good side in war.
But yeah, Paths of Glory, film classic for a reason, apparently. It's so good. I really loved it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Definitely give it a try sometime. Because I like I said, I steered clear from it for the longest time because I didn't want to watch a bunch of like people just running around shooting at each other for like an hour.
I gave it a 10 out of 10.
But it is not that.
Also, shout out to Kirk Douglas. Gotta be one of my favorite actors
Kirk
of
Douglas
that era.
is killing it in this. Good stuff.
Then on the 25th, we watched The Tangle.
The Tangle.
Indie movie.
No one's going to want to tango with the Rango.
What to say about The Tangle?
The Tangle.
I liked some of what it was going for.
Yes.
But I really disliked 90% of the movie.
I wouldn't say that I disliked 90% of the movie. I would say that I was
bored
is for 90% of the movie, I think, is a better way to put it, because I admire what it's going for. I do, but it just doesn't have the cast or the cinematography or the editing to pull it off.
No, I think really the only thing this movie has going for it in terms of like good filmmaking and stuff is its dialogue writing.
Exactly.
But writing dialogue like that really doesn't.
You need a great cast.
You need a great cast, and you need other stuff too.
You need a full-on
So for those of you who
miracle.
don't know what we're talking about, since I guaranteed hardly anybody's watched this movie, it's like extremely stylized dialogue, like Brick, but more so.
Like Brick, yeah.
Brick's the best example I could have for it, but it's kind of nice listening to it.
Yeah.
Like, it's genuinely some interestingly written stuff. It can get a little tiresome and a little pretentious sounding at points, but like, it's genuinely a fun idea and cool to listen to, having like a sci-fi that feels so attached to like that age noir feeling, but yet they never pull off any sci-fi or noir things at all in it.
Yeah. I didn't think it was completely terrible. Its ideas were there, the writing was there. Just basically everything else wasn't there.
Yeah, like I just think the filmmaking overall was just
yeah, sloppy at best.
Especially the cinematography and set design at the end.
Yeah,
that like those last scenes and everything looked like something out of like, gosh, why did I just lose that TV network that puts out a bunch of really
CW?
No. CW usually has good budgets.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
I don't think it's actually the Sci-Fi Channel, but that one channel that puts out a bunch of crappy sci-fi shows.
I don't know.
Anyway, it looked like one of those.
Yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 10.
I gave it a 4 out of 10 or a 2 out of 5.
Well, there you go. We have passed judgment on The Tangle, apparently.
It has been judged.
It has been judged.
Next up is Cinema, also known as a goofy movie.
A goofy movie.
Which
they made such a goofy movie.
G. Willikers, I hadn't seen this in a while, and I forgot how freaking good it actually is. Like,
yeah.
Dang. I honestly have no problems.
No flaws.
No problems. I think it's genuinely one of the most real feeling and outstanding like animated movies ever made.
Good stuff.
The father-son relationship is
unprecedented.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
I think my review was literally straight up like, who wrote a screenplay for a movie about Goofy that happens to be a musical, and then they wrote it this well.
Right. It doesn't seem like it should work, and it works so well. The songs
did they do it?
Are outstanding.
Why is it a musical?
Dude,
but it works.
That scene in the hot tub, that is like...
That's cinema, man.
That's like PTA level scenes.
Dude, if that scene was in Licorice Pizza, I would be like, yeah, it makes sense.
I gave it a 5 out of 5.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's so good. It's so very good. I just, some of the scenes don't fully click with me, and I think it's a little rushed at points, but like literally other than that, I think it's pretty much perfect. So
Boo.
good stuff.
Get off the stage.
Wow.
Then we rewatched Ford v Ferrari.
How'd they get afforded a Ferrari to box like that?
which I have a certain love for this movie. I don't know why. I kind of love it.
Is this a James Mangold movie?
Yeah, it's a James Mangold movie.
That makes sense.
I really like the cast. It makes me sad. It makes me sad that people are kind of right about the cast kind of phoning it in.
They are, man.
But man, I really like the cast.
Yeah, no, that's honestly like my biggest complaint, because I really like Ford v Ferrari. I probably should bump it up to an 8 instead of the 7 that I have it at now. But it just, the cast, a lot of the crew feels like they're phoning it in on this, but it is still really fun and charming and cool.
I love the script. I love the cinematography, the editing, the music.
Man, the editing.
Cast. I really love everything it's going for. It's not perfect by any means. Even its pacing is a little rough. But, I do just have a strong love for this movie. I give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, good stuff. That later that day I watched.
Did you say what you rated it?
Yes, I said
okay.
7. I said I should probably bump it to an 8 instead of the 7 that I have it at now.
Okay.
Later that day, I watched Claire on Sound, which was a special feature thing done by, I think, I don't remember what his first name is, but the director of the movie I watched after that, Les Millions, which is an old musical. I think it's French, if I'm not mistaken. But it's very good. It's one of the earliest uses of sound in movies. I mean, it's right around the like turn of when that was becoming popular, and it was the first movie, as far as I can tell, to ever use superimposed sound, like sound that wasn't that doesn't match what's on screen. Like they used like kind of cartoonish sound effects in some of the dance numbers and everything like that.
Interesting.
One of the earliest uses of something like that, and it's a French musical, and it was pretty fun.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun.
It's like In the Heights, Micah. There's a lottery ticket, and he has to find it before
he won the lotto tomorrow.
See, he has to figure out
he knew he wouldn't bother going on no spending spree.
If he was gonna be a millionaire or not.
He'd pick a business school and pay the entrance fee.
Wow. But yeah, it was really good. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Good stuff.
Then on the 26th, I watched Encanto again.
Encanto.
Just because it's good.
Actually, we just did a whole episode about
Actually, I was working all day, so yeah.
Aww.
That's why I was turning on movies. Like, I literally worked all day. I watched Encanto while I worked, and then partially while I worked, and like I was kind of taking a break-ish, I watched Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves for the first time.
Very interested in seeing that now. I watched like 10 minutes of it.
I really liked a lot of what it was going for. I liked the man of the Robin Hood. I liked a lot of the ideas. Alan Rickman is Alan Rickman.
I liked a lot of the ideas. Alan Rickman.
Which is, I mean, Alan Rickman would make me love a movie just for Alan Rickman. It's kind of weird pacing. It's a little long. Not all of its ideas are used as greatly as I wish they were. Robin Hood isn't as fun of a character as I wish he was in this. But it was really fun and had a great conclusion. And I don't know, I just really liked it. I'm a Robin Hood guy, and
I'm a Robin Hood guy.
Alan Rickman via Robin Hood is fantastic.
Like it's like, ladies and gentlemen, you'll believe when I say that I'm a Robin Hood guy.
I'm a Robin Hood. Now I've only seen a couple of Robin Hood movies. I gave it a 3.5.
Cool. I can't wait to see it. It looks fun.
Then we watched High School Musical 2 together.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Great movie, yeah.
Love me some High School Musical.
I think this is probably the best thing Disney Channel has ever put out.
It is the best
pretty
thing
easily.
Disney Channel has ever put out.
Surprisingly great musical numbers, production design, costuming,
even pacing,
cinematography, pacing,
editing,
color grading.
This movie looks amazing.
I don't know why. I mean, I get the first High School Musical was a big hit, but the fact that they had the budget to pull off something like this for Disney Channel is kind of weird.
Hey, and then this was a big enough hit that they gave the third one a full theater release.
Right? That's crazy to me. But like, I mean, this is a great movie. If you've never seen it, which if you're like me and Micah's age, I don't know how you avoided seeing High School Musical
Right?
2.
We literally grew up on High School Musical 2.
I literally could sing along every word of every song in this, and it's great. I love it.
Right.
Great performances too. Like amazingly great performances.
It's honestly a really shockingly good movie.
I keep hearing people say that it's like this generation's Grease, and if that is the case, I'm glad because it's much better than Grease.
They've been trying to recreate this kind of thing from Disney Channel literally ever since, because I think this is the only thing that ever like did outstanding.
I feel so bad for people who are doing Disney movies now, because anyone who does a musical for Disney Channel is always going to get compared to this, and that is not fair.
Right.
This
was going like on all
going dumb, Micah. But yeah, good movie, great movie. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
The next day I watched The Web, a Nathan Fielder short film.
Hey, I've seen that.
Because I've been watching through Nathan For You for the first time, and I've been loving it. The Web is love, the Web is life.
The Web is great.
It's got Johnny Depp almost in it. It's very good, very funny. I liked it.
On the 27th, since it's still the 27th, I watched The Great Gatsby for the first time.
Gatsby. Old sport.
I'm not a big Great Gatsby book fan. In fact, I really didn't like the book. But there were several reasons I wanted to give this movie a try. Mainly its cast. Also, it looked like it would be something interesting. And it very much was interesting. I do not like most of the decisions creatively that were made for this. But it has such a good, the fact that it has a vision for what it wants to be. The cast is outstanding. The production design is outstanding. The costuming is outstanding. My biggest problems with it are some of the editing choices and some of the writing choices. Oh my gosh,
the editing is almost incoherent at times, man.
It really is. It's really bad in certain parts. Really bad.
Oh my gosh.
Almost Bohemian Rhapsody level of bad editing in some parts.
I busted out laughing one time, but we'll get to what I thought later.
But no, I enjoyed it a lot though. It made after watching it, I only gave it a 3.5, but after watching it, I just really wanted to watch it again.
Makes sense.
Then what did you watch on the 28th?
I watched 3 Lego Batman shorts that were I'm trying to get through all of the films that I actually own. And these were on there, so I watched them. They're shorts and special features made for the Lego Batman movie, which I very much like. And easily the best one of the bunch here is movie sound effects. How did they do that? Because Zoe Kravitz is in it, and she's very good. That's about it. That's really all there's to mention. They're fine.
Then on the 29th, I think I was working on the 29th.
You must have been. You logged 4 movies, didn't you?
Yeah, wait, no, I was writing on the... Yeah, okay, I was working on the 29th.
Oh my gosh.
And I woke up and I was like, oh, I have the house to myself while I work. Maybe I'll turn on some movies. So I turned on Tragedy of Macbeth.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
Great movie.
Outstanding. Beautiful. I love it with everything in me. 5 out of 5. Then I was like, I'm in the mood for more good movies. So I was like, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Outstanding.
Great
movie. I love
movie.
it. One of my favorite movies of all time. 5 out of 5. Literally nothing will ever touch that in my mind. Then I was like, maybe we'll keep on going with the good movies. And I was like, Suspiria. And I was like, ooh, Suspiria is a great movie. I love it with everything in me. 5 out of 5. And then Robbie got home.
Yeah. And then we watched The Great Gatsby together. Yeah. This was my first time watching it.
And my thoughts really didn't change on a rewatch. It's more enjoyable on a rewatch, I thought.
I think knowing where the story was going would probably make it a little more enjoyable. I literally had no clue what The Great Gatsby was going to be about, other than the fact that there was a party or something.
That's 90% of the book. It's just parties.
But The Great Gatsby, it's very much a Jay-Z film.
Right.
If you like Jay-Z's music, you're going to like The Great Gatsby.
I wanted jazz. I wanted actual jazz. I want to have creative control over this movie with the same cast. Let me do that.
Oh my gosh.
The cast is outstanding.
Leo is killing it here for some reason. Why is he giving so so much to The Great Gatsby.
DiCaprio's performance in this is honestly one of the best I've seen from him, and that's insane because it's The Great Gatsby, in which he says "old sport" a million times.
Old sport like 16,000 times in this movie. But honestly,
Robbie, I'm afraid I haven't been a very good host shot.
Okay, that is like one of the best shots in cinema history. If you watch this movie even if you don't watch the whole movie, watch the party scene when he does the champagne toast as he turns around.
When he first
see Gatsby. It's so good. That's like a great shot. But it's very good. Not great.
This movie feels like this is exactly what this movie feels like. You read Great Gatsby for school, so you were just kind of skimming through it.
Like, yeah.
You got high and listened to Jay-Z music.
Yeah, that's essentially the movie.
What came out was this movie.
It's kind of incoherent at times. It's very sloppy, but the performances are solid. The production design's solid. The visual style and stuff is solid. But it's just not there. There are a lot of things holding it back.
3.5 again from me.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. Good stuff.
Then, because I wanted to, later that same night,
oh my God,
we watched Time Without Pity, or at least I did.
I was about to
for the first time
Without Pity. Speak for yourself.
I wasn't expecting much from it. Actually, I wasn't expecting anything from it. And what I found was one of my favorite.
I would call it a noir movie.
Yeah, one of my favorite noir movies ever made. It's so tight. It's one of the as old movies go. I found that one of my least favorite parts about a lot of them that aren't the really acclaimed, outstanding ones is that they kind of flop around for most of their stuff.
That is true. And they burn a lot of their runtime.
I like that there's a lot of atmospheric stuff that they used to do in old movies. I hate that we kind of dropped that. I want more of that. But a lot of not great old movies just are kind of atmospheric for atmospheric's sake. But this movie is so dialed in. Good and stuff. Has some actually really
very focused,
really outstanding transition stuff that I wasn't expecting. So great cinematography, outstanding performances. I love the ending of this so much. I don't know. I loved it. I wasn't expecting it, but I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Hey, there you go. I watched it with you later on that night. I was just gonna say,
then I watched Logan Lucky the next day.
Yeah.
And then the next night we watched it again.
But yeah, Time Without Pity. Great movie, great camera work, pretty good performances, good atmosphere. I liked it. Good movie.
Like I said in my review for this, Robbie, if Great Gatsby is a drunk movie, this is a hungover movie.
Right, exactly. And then we
Wait, what did you rate it? You didn't say.
Oh, I did. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought. Oh, but I might not have. But the next day after we finished that, we were leaving for vacation the next morning.
Yeah.
So this is the road trip movies, Micah. I watched Charlie XCX's new documentary that she put out on the 31st. She didn't put it out on the 31st, but I watched it on the 31st. And it was pretty good. A little unfocused, I think is a good word for it. It didn't know what it wanted to be fully. But it's very, very intimate and very good. I liked it. If you're a fan of Charlie's music, go watch it. You'll like it. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Then he watched Best in Show still in the car, and I watched the whole thing over his shoulder, only reading subtitles.
Yeah,
I had no audio.
You're missing a lot on the performances in this one, Micah. It's really good.
But I'm gonna say, even without audio, which I think this is honestly, I really like doing this with movies sometimes because I think it's a good test of
good exercise
if they're really enjoyable through and through. I thought it was outstanding and funny, and I just watched it over his shoulder with no audio.
It's so funny. This has been one of the best comedies I've seen in a while, just straight up comedy films. There's obviously a lot of comedy integrated into a lot of modern movies. That's been a trend lately, but this is one of the best just comedies I've seen in a while. Great ensemble cast, really fun concept, really good pacing, really good execution of that concept, surprisingly, to a surprising degree. It just pulls everything it wants to off rather effortlessly. and it's kind of magical. I like it.
No, I thought it was really great, and I watched it over his shoulder.
More importantly, it's very funny.
Also on the 31st, I watched Searching for Bobby Fischer for the first time.
Did you find him, Micah?
We found him.
Oh my gosh.
No,
I can't believe it.
Like it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I had heard.
Still?
I like it's. I don't know. It's really weird that it's like as critically acclaimed as it is, because like it's really good.
Yeah.
But like it's just fine at the same time, you know.
Like it's not that good. Like calm down, guys.
Yeah, like it's really tight and everything, and its filmmaking is all good, but like it's not really doing much
Outside of that, yeah.
Yeah,
I could see that.
But I still really enjoyed it. I actually really want to rewatch it. Like I was just sitting there the other day, and I was like, man, I want to rewatch Searching for Bobby Fischer. But I give it a 4 out of 5.
Well, there you go.
And I wanted to say a criminal underuse of Lawrence Fishburne. Why is he giving an outstanding performance, but they never let him be on screen?
Man, Lawrence Fishburne, fun actor. I love him.
Then I didn't really want. I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, no,
about these.
We're not really going to talk about.
We were at Disney.
Yeah, we were at Disney,
and you can log a lot of the ride.
Yeah, we got to ride Remy's Ratatouille Adventure for the first time, which was very cool.
I did want to mention one thing because it wasn't a ride. Beauty and the Beast sing along. It was trash. I hated it.
I don't think it was trash,
right?
But it kind of actively makes Beauty and the Beast more cringe.
It makes Beauty and the Beast worse.
It's weirdly
The
paced.
animation is not good.
The animation is not as good. Dude,
LeFou is not good.
LeFou kind of low tier in this. Not great. Not the LeFou content the fans want.
Haley was like, "Oh, I really want to go to this," and that was fine. And then she was like, "Oh, that was fun. What did you think?" And I was like, "I hated it."
Yeah.
She was like, "No."
I guess if we're gonna give a shout out to that, may as well give a shout out to Muppet Vision 3D, because that absolutely rocks.
Muppet Vision 3D is one of the greatest gifts of shows.
I give it a 9 out of 10.
I remember I was crying when they said that they might take it out.
Dude, I swear, if they get rid of Muppet Vision 3D, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Dude, it's the only I think it's the only thing in the world that I can think of where you get to be in the room with some of the Muppets.
Some of the Muppets, exactly. It's so cool. The Muppets are so cool. Is really the big takeaway here.
But while we were on vacation, we went to the theaters. And watched West Side Story.
Stephen Spielberg's West Side Story. My favorite director.
G. Willie Kerr's. What a freaking outstanding musical. I think it might be one of the greatest musical movies I've ever seen.
Who knew Stevie had it in him? You know, I mean, obviously everyone did because he's a great director. But like,
I'm a big Stephen Sondheim fan.
Yeah,
but this has never really been one of my favorite things from him. Like, I've never really liked the music from West Side Story. I still didn't like the music that much in this, but especially, and I'm sure it's the same way with the rest of it. Like, actually seeing it like performed in something is where it really shines, because really the great part about a lot of the musical numbers is not the singing or the singing itself. It's usually just the music itself and like the choreography and like what they're doing and everything that makes it fun. Yeah,
no, I mentioned I mean, like a lot of Spielberg movies, this movie has such a great visual mastery from like every perspective, the blocking, the choreography, the cinematography, the lighting, everything. It's just so solid. You could watch it on mute. It's a musical. You could watch it on mute and it would still be fantastic.
You could watch it on mute and get the entire story and be in love with the movie, and that's how good it is.
There's some like all-time great sequences in this. The cast is great. The music's great. West Side Story is like my favorite Broadway musical. So
even though it sucks that that man who I shall not name is in this, I don't like that he's in it. He still gives a decent performance.
No, he's good in this.
I don't like that he's in it, but like it's not like he's dragging down the movie you just ignore that it's him.
Yeah, no, I love the '61 film adaptation of West Side Story, and I think this one is on par with it. But it's doing a lot of things differently, but not worse. Like I think they're on like the same level. I love both of them.
Also, when I sat down in theaters to watch this movie, I made a tweet.
Oh no!
I tweeted.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I tweeted about
that was pretty cool.
that I was watching it and made a joke about how if I could speak, Rachel Zegler was the only cast member in it, and I tagged her in it. 'Cause she's on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then we finished the movie and I was like, wow, that's outstanding. And I opened up my phone and I was like, wow, the tweet sure did get a lot of likes. That's kind of weird. And then I went through the likes and I saw that she had liked the tweet, and that's why it was getting
wild times, man.
So yeah, she liked the tweet, and then
while we were watching the movie, imagine tweeting something out and one of the leads of the movie likes it while you're watching the movie.
Again, it's not that crazy. This was her first movie and she's really active on Twitter.
Yeah.
But
still cool.
Still a very, very cool
cool
experience to walk out of the movie and be like, hey, the lead of the absolutely fantastic movie you just watched liked your tweet.
I can't believe she's like a newcomer. She's so good in this. But like I said, all of the main cast is really great.
So yeah, just cool experience to add on to a great movie.
Absolutely. I adore it. It's top tier Spielberg, for sure. I loved it.
Then we watched Constantine for the first time while we were still on vacation.
Yeah, we did.
Which, man, why does this movie have a bad rep? This was so much fun.
No, this is so... People who don't like Constantine don't like fun movies.
This was great.
It's like a less cohesive Hellboy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But I think me and Micah both made the comparison.
Like I said, Tilda Swinton, Angel, Keanu Reeves, Exorcist. I mean, what do you do?
You can't go wrong with Tilda Swinton as the angel in this.
I put in my review actually, very Hellboy-esque, and what it lacks in Del Toro's charm and production design, it makes up for in performances and really snappy writing and editing.
Right. Yeah. No, solid concept, solid execution. Keanu looks like he's having the time of his life. Great movie. I loved it.
Yeah, I really
go watch Constantine if you want.
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Then also on that ride, we watched a movie that I honestly completely forgot about. I seriously forgot that we watched it entirely.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes.
I was actually thinking about this movie earlier today.
No, until this, I am not joking. Until this very moment, I completely forgot we watched it.
Dang, okay.
We watched I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
And that pretty much describes how I feel about it.
Will Smith, baby.
There was some fun stuff that it was doing. Will Smith was a great performance.
Yeah.
But man, I found it so forgettable. I literally forgot about it.
That sucks. Sucks for you, Micah. Because I really liked this. It's one of my favorite, quote, vampire movies now. I guess they're vampires, I assume.
Yeah, vampires.
If you qualify them as that. But
I know some people consider it a zombie movie.
Yeah, it makes more sense as a zombie movie, but they're surprisingly vampiric. Zombies.
They're creatures.
Yes. I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It's got a surprisingly compelling, it doesn't get boring, and it's basically
honest, Will Smith carries this movie.
I was about to say, he carries it so hard because it's basically a one-man cast.
Yeah, but he did such an outstanding job.
He's so good in this, and the world is fun. The action scenes, when there are some, are really good.
I mean, Nakey Jakey likes this movie.
Nakey. If it's good enough for Nakey, it's good enough for me.
But yeah, my only big problem with it is just that I found it really forgettable even at the time, and I have not thought about it.
I could see that. That's honestly one of its bigger problems. Is it lacks. It has a good emotional core, but it doesn't have a great emotional core. And that's kind of what the whole movie hinges on. So if that doesn't click fully for you, I could easily see not thinking about it that much. I just
forgot about it.
I was thinking about the Shrek parallels earlier today.
Not the Shrek.
Yes.
I give it a 3.5.
I give it a 8 out of 10.
Then on the way back from vacation, we were
coming back home. We're off our high from vacation.
We watched The Mask.
The Mask for the very first time. Weird movie.
It was cool.
Kind of bonkers.
It was cool.
A little troublesome, honestly. I love Jim Carrey. I think he's a great performer. But I genuinely don't understand what the moral of The Mask is supposed to be, and it seems like it's supposed to be one of those folk tales that has a pretty clear moral. But what is the moral here? Don't be yourself.
Yeah, I don't understand the message, and on top of that, as a character, Jim Carrey's character with the mask can be kind of
it has not aged very well at times. He's still fun. Like, I think Jim Carrey does a great job, but like the movie itself, the actual text here is not something that I love to watch.
Yeah, no, I do not like a lot of just some of the implications.
Yeah.
And like just but the like Jim Carrey is giving it his all. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's a fun story overall.
Yeah, no, I think it's an enjoyable movie at the very least.
It's goofy, it's way out there, and I really like the idea of what they were going for, like a 2D cartoon superhero.
Yeah.
I think that's sick. There's just some stuff that genuinely puts a distaste in my mouth towards the movie.
It's like an overly sweet drink. It's like, yeah, this is good, but like it leaves a really weird aftertaste, and like you kind of have a headache afterwards. But like, yeah, I liked it.
I put a Cat in the Hat and Scooby-Doo energy, and I mean that in the most on par way possible.
Yeah. I said Milo needs his own like solo movie from this. The dog in this, he's so good.
I gave it 3.5.
I also gave it a 3.5 or 7 out of 10.
Then
good
continuing
stuff.
On the car ride home, we watched Bad Genius.
Baby, Bad Genius. I've been trying to get Micah to watch it. Good
Shout
stuff.
out to Thailand.
Right? This is one of the first movies I've seen produced there, and it was very, very good. Man. Better than I remembered it being, even.
I thought it was pretty great. I think its only real problem that it has, like, at all is pacing.
Yeah.
Its pacing is just kind of... But I don't know, it still worked pretty well as a movie.
I forgot how fun the cast was in this.
No, the cast is outstanding. It has a really fun heist. It's I don't know. It's a really neat movie.
Fun movie,
It's really well shot. I was not expecting.
Is true,
the cinematography is outstanding.
It's got some great sequences.
It's got
man.
great editing.
Great editing.
Like I don't know, and almost everything about this is good, but the pacing.
Yeah,
I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. This was my second watch. If you haven't checked out Bad Genius yet, do so. It's good.
Yeah, and I found out that it's based on a real story. So
concerning.
Like a couple Taiwanese students actually tried to cheat on the I don't know, how do you say it? The STICs, I guess.
Yeah.
Using camera glasses connected to watches, which was a terrible plan.
Terrible plan.
And I like to think that the writers and directors of this movie like read that story, like heard about that story, and they were like, "Nah, I know a way we could beat the system."
Much cooler system.
So then they wrote a story about them doing that.
Wow. The next day on the 7th, I watched Pete's Dragon for the first time because I want to see David Lowery's newest movie, The Green Knight, and I kind of wanted like some sort of taste of his filmography before I just went in cold on that. And Pete's Dragon was great. Very, very folk movie. Very folk movie, which I'm usually a little like, not usually my scene, but I very much enjoyed it. It's got a lot of heart, good cast, very, very wholesome vibes, Micah. I'm very much looking forward to The Green Knight now.
I did not like it. I've seen it before. I didn't watch it here.
Yeah. It was good, though. Great, even. Definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite, of the, quote, like, Disney live-action remake things. I adore it. Like, this is like a masterpiece compared to the original Pete's Dragon. So, yeah. Good stuff. And then I watched Micah's new short film. Yeah. Same day.
I had been sitting on it for a while, and I finally edited it and put it out.
Yeah. It's good. It's called The Light. It came out this year. If you go to Micah's YouTube channel, it's on there. You can watch it and log it.
Sequel to The Space, by the way.
Which is the best short film you've done, I think.
I concur.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a sequel to The Space. They kind of both work on the same ideas, in my mind anyway, from a writing standpoint. I was working with similar things.
I can see that.
And yeah, they're not the greatest things in the world, but they definitely hit what I wanted them to be.
Well, there you go. That's all you need, Micah.
So yeah, I like them. Go check them out. Grawey Films on YouTube.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I think it's really good.
Then on the 7th,
the 7th,
we watched the first X-Men movie for the first time.
First X-Men, Fox X-Men movie.
Say X-Men one more time, Robbie.
Yeah. I've been wanting to like dive into this franchise for a long time, and I finally have, and it was fine, pretty good.
I had heard good things about them, and it was like honestly, as like it wasn't outstanding in any way.
No,
but it was really refreshing. Like it was nice to just see a superhero movie that didn't feel weighed down like every superhero movie does that comes out now.
Yeah,
even something like Spider-Verse, as fantastic as that is, I feel like has this weight over it.
That, a looming presence.
But like this movie and like all of this era superhero movies don't really have that. And
it's kind of fun, yeah. I don't know. X-Men, it was a fun movie. The cast was pretty good. The universe is pretty fun. The CGI has not aged very well.
No.
But it is from 2000. Like, we just exited the 90s, so it's understandable.
Yeah. I give it a 3.5.
I also give it a 3.5. Very good movie, but not great.
Oh no, Robbie.
The next day, I watched... well, do you want to talk about yours first? I think you watched yours first.
I mean, I could do my bundle.
Yeah, go for it.
Just go to the 11th. I watched Scooby-Doo. I was in the mood to watch Scooby-Doo since we had watched Scooby-Doo 2 not that long ago. All this
wee business, Micah.
I was... anyway, yeah. Scooby-Doo's great. I love that.
It is. Very good movie.
It's kind of goofy.
Did you see that I think it was either Australian or New Zealand theme park has the castle ride from the movie in their theme park now, and I very much want to go and ride it.
My review, I think, sums up this movie perfectly. It says, we're like two trippy peas in a far-out pod. Might be one of the hardest lines ever delivered. I gave it 3.5. Then I logged my short film just because I watched it again, just to log it and leave a review.
There you go.
And then I watched The King of Comedy while I was working. For some reason, I've watched it like 3 times, specifically while I'm working.
I was going to say top tier Scorsese, but I haven't really seen too many of his movies, but I do think it is top tier.
I love Martin Scorsese.
He's so good.
The King of Comedy.
It's so good. The performances, atmosphere, pacing, writing.
It makes me a little sick to my stomach, which is good.
That's what it's going effect.
For. I love it. I give it a 5 out of 5.
Good. It's a great movie. Fantastic movie. So while Micah was doing all that, I watched Playmobil the movie for the first time on the 8th. And it is, if you remember the negative like buzz around the Lego movie, everyone thought it was going to be an ad for just like an hour and a half long ad for Lego. That's essentially what the Playmobil movie ended up being. It's kind of just this like super vanilla plot, not executed with any charm or fun, really. And it's a bad musical too. It's a musical. And the songs all suck. So it's not good. I gave it a 4 out of 10. And really the biggest upside is that I got to hear Anya Taylor-Joy. That's her name. I don't know why I always second guess her name. I got to hear her sing, so it was nice. She's fun in this.
That's a plus.
she is like, that's honestly, she's the biggest highlight here. And she's not doing anything that crazy. So, I mean, it was kind of boring, but, not the worst thing I've ever seen. Then I watched Love and Monsters that night. I've been wanting to check it out for a while. It's a 2020 sci-fi movie, and it's really good. Great, even. It's... I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's got a fun performance leading it. It's got a fun energy, and it's just a fun movie. If you're in the mood for a fun, like, apocalypse action movie, go watch Love and Monsters. It's very good. And then I guess...
What did you give?
Oh, right. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I'll mention Pas de Deux as well.
Pas de Deux?
Yes. 1968 film.
Is it French, Robbie?
It is French. How did you guess? Micah? How could you possibly know that? I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who did it. Yeah, it's a Norman McLaren film, which I really loved everything of his that I've seen. He tinkers around with like different film techniques and mediums really well in a very interesting way. He's a great composer, just a very talented man. And this film, I liked it a lot. If you got like I think it's like 9 minutes long or something. If you got the free time, check it out. It's really fun.
All right, and then on the 11th, we watched something that our mom wanted to watch for like 90 years or something.
I mean, I wanted to see it too.
We watched Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day. Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good for a Blumhouse movie.
Whoa.
No.
I mean,
I think it's great. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not my particular cup of tea, but I do particularly enjoy what it's doing, and it's got that guy.
It's got that guy. I love that guy.
It's that guy again.
It's that guy. He's back again.
I love him.
But yeah, no, Happy Death Day. Fun, like most of all, fun movie. Cool concept. The execution's pretty like tight.
I think my biggest complaint with it is I just really didn't enjoy what the story did at all. Like I didn't like any of the ending. Like I just thought it was kind of.
I thought it was cool.
I didn't like its conclusion. I didn't like who was doing it. I didn't like.
I think they could have come up with something more interesting, but like other than that, I think it's doing exactly what it set out to do. So I admire it.
But yeah,
Happy Death Day.
Fun performances. It looks pretty okay. It's just pretty good.
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Bum bum bum.
Or a 7 out of 10. Then we went to the theaters again and watched Moonfall.
Well, actually, I watched something before that.
No!
If you can even believe it.
I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah.
I stepped on your toes.
You stepped up. Well, not really. You just forgot to mention the best movie of the year, Micah. Well, besides The House, obviously. But I watched Soderbergh's new film, Kimmy. Just came on HBO Max, so I wanted to give it a try, and it was great. Really fun.
It was great.
Homage to Hitchcock. Soderbergh just basically made a Hitchcock movie. And I'm a big Hitchcock fan, so I really loved it. I love Soderbergh's style.
He loved it.
Zoe Kravitz. I think that's how you say her name. I'm not sure. It gives a great performance in this. Also, she has very blue hair, very blue hair in this movie, and it's kind of distracting.
Distracting blue hair.
Like, so it's so vibrant. How do you get hair to look like that? But yeah, Kimmy was great. It's kind of like a 90s movie in a weird way. I say it's like a Hitchcock movie, but it's like a 90s Hitchcock movie. If that makes any sense.
So something that doesn't exist.
So like it's like if Hitchcock made a movie in the 90s and then Soderbergh made that. That's what Kimmy is.
Wow.
And it's got a great score, great lead, fun story. I like it. Great movie. Moving on, we did go to the theater.
Then we went to the theaters and watched Ronald Emmerich's Moonfall.
Yeah.
Which
Moonfall, baby.
I thought it was fun, but it's honestly one of the stupidest movies I've seen in my life.
I put on my Letterboxd shirt to go see this movie, Micah. I was so excited. I was like, the moon is falling, guys.
I kind of hate the cast.
Oh, me too.
I kind of hate a lot of the jokes.
It's kind of a cringy cast, but I think they give good performances, honestly. Like, I don't like the cast, but like I think what they're doing here is actually pretty good.
The story is cool, but I think it's terribly structured.
What? I don't know about all that. I don't know about terribly structured. I think it's pretty good.
I don't know. I just was like, I wish they would have done like a sci-fi thriller movie or a disaster movie, and not both.
Aw.
I didn't think it worked very well. I still enjoyed it, but I don't think it worked very well.
I think this is easily my favorite Ronald Emmerich movie. Which there wasn't that much competition really. I just really admire what it goes for and like how hard it just commits to doing what it wants to do. I don't think it works all the time. I think the pacing's a little weird and the structuring's a little weird. But the performances are pretty good. Even though, like I said, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the cast. I don't know. I really liked it. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
He gave it a 7
I liked
out
Moonfall.
Of 10.
Moonfall, good.
Robbie likes
Stupid
Moonfall.
moon movie, good. I think I tweeted that out after I watched it.
Okay, but Robbie, they reference SpaceX and Elon Musk multiple times.
That's
in
honestly,
a positive way. That's
the reason it's not an 8 out of 10, Micah, is they mentioned SpaceX so many times.
I gave it a 5 out of 10. Then we rewatched The Lion King.
Lion King, baby.
One of the greatest animated movies ever made. Fantastic. Yeah. Outstanding.
Easily, man.
Beautiful.
Good stuff.
Euphoric.
Unprecedented, man. Disney has been coasting off of this ever since it came out.
I have nothing but good things to say about The Lion King.
Okay, we watched a Lion King live show while we were at Disney,
Which was good.
and was not a fan of it because basically all of the things about it that are good is just the music, and that's it. Like
Dude, the actual visual stuff was good. That's what it was.
Like the choreography's fine. It's pretty cool.
It was
but,
literally a show for choreography and music.
I know, but it felt so. Yeah, it's like I don't know.
You're wrong.
I didn't like it.
I really liked it.
But The Lion King, I liked very much. One of my favorites from Disney's catalog, and I gave it a 9 out of 10. Very good movie.
I gave it a 10 out of 10. Then we watched Monsters, Inc.
One of my personal favorites.
I mean, it's like,
my favorite Pixar movie.
Lion King, 4.5. Monsters, Inc. 5 out of 5.
Oh, wow. But yeah, Monsters, Inc.
Monsters, Inc. Outstanding atmosphere.
It may or may not have spawned my love for movies. We're not sure.
Outstanding atmosphere, outstanding story, great duo, funny,
great buddy
interesting.
movie, yeah.
This movie used to creep the heck out of me when I was
gosh.
younger, not because of the monsters, but because of the freaking atmosphere of the factory.
I swear, man, this movie is so freaking good.
That's honestly what I used to be scared of when I watched this movie when I was younger.
Dude.
The atmosphere. The atmosphere looked me in the eyes and said, you should be scared.
It is tangible. I love atmospheric movies, and this is probably where that came from, because I adore Monsters, Inc. with my entire being.
I gave it a 4.5. I think its performances are legendary. I think its world is fun.
Its world is so cool. But yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10. I loved it.
Then we watched the 2021 film by Scott Cooper.
Speaking of atmosphere,
Antlers.
This did not have any.
This had no atmosphere. In terms of atmosphere, they had no atmosphere.
Antlers.
Del Toro's a producer on this, and the only thing that gets me through it is the fact that the monster design is absolutely outstanding.
Great monster design.
Oh, and Jesse Plemons is here, but he's almost falling asleep for literally 90% of the movie.
Jesse Plemons is asleep at the wheel here. He's such a good actor.
He
looks like he's so uninterested.
He genuinely looks like he could actually just fall asleep in the movie. Like, he's not giving anything to his performance at all.
I feel so bad for, not liking this movie, because I want to praise its concepts and ideas, but it just does not execute them in an interesting way.
Execution is not good. I genuinely would say it's not good.
Yeah.
And I don't think it does anything good with its themes through writing. I think its themes are kind of muddled and problematic at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, this is like The Mask, dude. I don't know what the takeaway is supposed to be, but if it's what the movie is kind of implying, what?
That end scene is absolutely unhinged.
Oh my gosh.
What is happening? I wanted to like this movie. I like a lot of it on an aesthetic standpoint,
yeah.
but it honestly, like Robbie said, even though there is a title card sequence, he said this while we were watching it, it feels like you're waiting for the title card to happen for 90% of the movie.
The entire movie feels like the opening credits for the movie. I don't know how they achieved that.
It literally feels like the movie never gets started.
It hasn't started, yeah. It all feels like an epilogue, the entire thing. Or prologue.
Literally, you could have started the movie, started another movie after it based on the first part, and I'd be like, weird prologue.
Here we go, yeah.
I give it 2 stars.
Yeah, I give it a 4 out of 10. Not great. I admire the creature designs, and that's about it. The effects look good.
Yeah, no, the actual effects, they look good, but they're not used for anything interesting.
No.
Then
strap in, guys. We're almost done.
We are. We're so close. On the 13th, we watched Angel's Egg.
Angel's Egg, first time.
Yeah, I had heard that it was a great anime movie.
Japan, they know how to make them.
And then one of my friends had suggested it, and then a YouTuber that we watched it.
Hey.
And I was like, how did he watch it?
How did he do that?
And then in the comments on his video, it said it was on YouTube.
There you go.
So I found it on YouTube, and we watched it. And it was...
one of the best ever made. Probably.
A good movie made for me, essentially. It is nothing but beautiful animation, atmosphere, and, lore, essentially. That's what this movie
It's a very, very meditative movie.
I loved it.
Very good movie too.
Over halfway through, probably. It was really funny. We were sitting there. There hasn't been a whole lot of dialogue. There's hardly any dialogue in the whole movie.
Yeah, there's not much.
And the one character just starts quoting the Bible, and we're like, it's Christian.
It's Christian.
Which it's not, but it was funny, and
It's funny.
I absolutely loved it. It was outstanding, and it almost made me cry.
It did make me cry, Mike.
My
goodness.
I give it a 5 out of 5.
I'm going to talk about tangible atmosphere, Dragon's Egg, or Angel's Egg. Why did I always think it's called Dragon's Egg? I don't know why.
I
But
don't know.
Angel's Egg, very good movie. One of the best animated films I've ever seen. 10 out of 10.
I
liked it.
concur. Then for
13th.
for Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
We watched, even though it wasn't like Valentine's Day wasn't until the next day.
We watched it for
me and Haley
Valentine's Day.
weren't able to really do anything on the actual 14th, so we hung out on the 13th, and we watched Warm Bodies.
Yeah.
Robbie had never seen it. Me and Haley had watched it together before.
I've never seen it before.
It's still not really my cup of tea. As Shakespeare adaptations go, it's pretty low tier for me.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty fun. Like, I don't know. I think I like Nicholas Hoult. It was really the biggest.
Yeah, he gives a great performance.
Really the biggest highlight here. I mentioned that it was kind of similar to Love and Monsters. Like, it reminded me a lot of it in the fact it's very much a kind of lighthearted teen post-apocalyptic movie.
Yeah.
I think Love and Monsters handles it a bit better and paces itself a bit better than this does. But Warm Bodies was fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny.
That's about it, yeah.
There's nothing inherently like aggressively wrong with it, but
No.
it's not really doing anything aggressively notable.
I was about to say none of its elements are really good enough to elevate it above just being pretty good.
I give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 5.
And I promise we're in the home stretch.
Valentine's
here.
Day.
We're so close.
We're on the 14th. This is the 21st, guys. We're getting close.
That night on the 14th, we watched Murder on the Orient Express.
We did.
I bought a trumpet that day.
Hey,
well, actually,
nice.
I didn't buy it. I got it for school, technically
I
speaking.
got a cool speaker set that day.
Murder
on the Orient
Murder
Express.
on the Orient Express was the first time I rewatched it since it pretty much came out.
Yeah.
Because we rented it from Redbox, so it was a little after it came out back
Yeah.
when we watched it, but still. Really the first time watching it since I cared about what I was watching, like to pay attention to what I was watching.
Yeah.
Weird movie.
Very odd in a lot of ways.
I like a lot of the ideas of what it's doing.
Yeah.
I even like a lot of the cast. The cinematography, I think, is outstanding, actually.
I'm not a big fan of the way it was
I
shot.
really loved the way it was shot.
Yeah. I didn't love it, but that's
But,
just
like,
me.
an actual substance of movie...
There's not much here.
I think Perot's mustache has more substance to it than the movie.
Kenneth Branagh is really good as Perot, though. I will
no.
say.
Yeah, no, he's
Not much to say about the movie, really.
No, there's not a whole lot. I liked how it looked, and I liked him, but that was about it. I gave it a 3 out of 5.
As did I. Rewatch, baby.
Then I watched on the 16th. Oh no, you watched something on the 15th.
I did watch something on the 15th.
So
I watched Cool Runnings for the first time, which I had never, I say which I have never seen before. I said the first time. Trying to catch up on some of the Disney movies that I missed from like back in the day. And this was great. I loved it a lot. Fun cast, surprisingly compelling screenplay for it being based on a true story.
No, I really like it.
Fun stylistic choices, well paced, well written. I liked it a lot. Great movie. 8 out of 10. And I also watched, how many movies did I watch? I also watched Marvel Studios Assembling a Universe, which is a documentary about Marvel Studios assembling a universe. It was fine. Pretty good. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
On that day, on the 16th, I rewatched whilst working, The Invisible Man.
The Invisible Man, the Lee Winnell one?
I had a hankering for watching it for some reason, even though I'm not a very big fan of the movie, and my thoughts were about the same on it. It's kind of really well made, but I kind of aggressively hate watching it just because I don't like literally I have no problems with it.
It's pretty good?
I just don't like watching it.
I love that movie.
I don't like the
so
story
much.
unfolding the way the story unfolds, so I'm like, ugh, I don't want to watch that.
Wow.
It's great though. I give it a 4 out of 5.
The next day on the 17th, I watched The Last Cruise, which is a 40-minute documentary about the last cruise, or the first infected cruise for COVID-19. Little narratively unfocused and kind of grating at times, but I admire what it's going for, and it's pretty good. I don't know. It was a fine documentary. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Then
the 18th.
On the 18th, we watched the hit movie Premium Rush.
Premium Rush, Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie.
Which, man, this movie is way more fun than it should be.
So much fun, dude.
What's going on?
What are they doing?
I don't even think the movie's that good, but it's honestly just so much fun.
I would watch it again.
I would watch it again. It's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Michael Shannon giving just absolutely the weirdest performances you've ever seen.
I don't know what Michael Shannon is doing,
but they're
in this
amazing.
Movie.
Goblin mode is the best way
He's
to
going
describe.
Goblin mode in
is
Premium
the
Rush.
best way to describe him in Premium Rush.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it somehow curates a really tangible atmosphere for the city.
It's got great world building.
What the heck?
Why does it have good world building?
The plot is
so-so.
whatever.
Yeah.
The ending is whatever. I don't really like the whole Newsies of Brooklyn moment.
The Newsies of Brooklyn moment is so weird, but it's kind of cool. I don't know. I admire a lot of what this movie's doing. I just don't totally vibe with what it's going for.
But yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too.
I give it a 3 out of 5.
I give it a 7 out of 10. Good movie.
I would watch it. I would watch it again.
And then, well, I guess technically that was the night of the 17th, but on the 18th, we went out to the theater and watched...
enough champagne to fill the night.
We had enough champagne to fill the Nile. We watched Death on the Nile, technical sequel to A Murder on the Orient Express.
It's just a sequel. It's not a technical sequel.
Well,
it's
I don't know.
definitely
It's not
a sequel.
yeah, I guess it is. But it was fun. I liked it. I actually liked it more than Murder on the Orient Express.
I enjoyed it a lot, surprisingly.
It's a lot more popcorn crowd pleasing-y than I expected it to be. It's literally like a popcorn movie, and that's what it is.
It's still got a lot of the same problems as Murder on the Orient Express, but it's a lot more fun, and its pacing is awful, but it's a lot more fun.
I think I said in my review, I said it's a lot more electric than Murder on the Orient Express, but it's a lot sloppier too.
No, it's very sloppy overall.
Very sloppy.
I think it's structured. I think at the end of the day, what makes me sad about these is I really like this Perot. I think it's really fun. I think Kenneth wants to have good ideas with this too, but I think quite frankly,
he's not a great director.
Beyond him just not being the greatest director out there, Agatha Christie's books have never adapted well to movies. I really just don't think they ever have.
Honestly, the old Murder on the Orient Express, the Sidney Lumet one, is actually pretty great, but even then it has some narrative shortcomings. All of my problems with it are book-based, it doesn't translate well.
Also, this is the most cursed cast you've ever seen. It's
so weird.
Insane.
It's so weird.
There's a scene and this is the most uncomfortable I've ever been watching a movie. I kid you not.
Really?
And
That's hilarious.
I watched Eraserhead for the first time with my mom, not knowing what was going to be in it. But
this was just very uncomfy.
Gal Gadot and Armie Hammer have a really heavily sexual implied scene. It's they're doing a bunch of really suggestive stuff and rubbing all over each other, and it's literally the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I was dying.
Did you take off a half star just for that, Micah?
I would. It was rough. The movie got infinitely better from the moment Gal Gadot's character died.
Aw.
I'm gonna be honest.
Spoilers, sheesh, Micah. Spoiling Death on the Nile.
But it's Death on the... Everybody knows Death on the Nile.
I didn't know the story of Death on the Nile.
But you knew she was gonna die.
I didn't know. I guess the trailer kind of implies that she's gonna die.
That's the basis of Death on the Nile.
All right. Well,
and it's an old book.
Death on the Nile, I really liked it. I put it on about the same tier as Moonfall when it comes to this year's releases. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Good stuff. I liked it a lot.
I gave it a 7 out of 10 as well. I rather enjoyed it. which I was not expecting.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Later that day, we got home. We watched
Ocean's 8.
Ocean's 8, so we could finish off the Ocean's movies.
I had seen it before.
Well, so I could finish off the Ocean's movies.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
Maybe you are crazy.
Mom and Robbie were like, "Oh, it's not bad. It's not that bad."
No.
I think this is one of the most dry, bland, lifeless, creativity-less, bad acting movies I've ever seen.
I just think it has a really bland screenplay.
Everything
That's its
about it
problem.
is bland, Robbie. I feel like I lose life when I watch this movie. It's not like that terrible in writing, but I feel like I actively dislike movies more after watching this movie.
Like, it's like maybe movies aren't my thing. That's hilarious.
I really, really dislike this movie.
I don't know. It was fine. It's a really good cast, like just absolutely wasted on like just a really bad screenplay. It completely misses what makes not Sodenheim. I said Sodenheim. What is
Soderbergh.
I'm inventing new people over here. It really misses what made Soderbergh's new trilogy good and fun to watch. It just completely misses how to make a good heist and how to write fun, interesting characters.
Nothing about this is good.
No, it's fun. It's fun.
No, it's not.
It's fun.
It's not fun.
I liked it.
It's not fun.
But it is not nearly as good as anything Soderbergh touched in the Ocean's trilogy.
I give it a 2 out of 10.
I
mean, not 2 out of 10. I give it a 2 out of 5. You're messing me up here with your 10s.
I gave it a 5 out of 10. I thought it was fine, but not good, really.
Then on the 19th.
On the 19th, we're almost there, guys. I watched a cute little documentary.
Oh yeah, I watched Bass on Titles with you.
It's about Saul Bass's title sequences, which he's quite well known for. If you know who Saul Bass is,
it's pretty much just him being like, "Yes, I had ideas and I executed them," and then it plays the titles.
And then it plays it up. Yeah. But yeah, Saul Bass, like, my favorite graphic designer. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. He's killing it. He's always on his A game.
No, he's a fantastic designer.
Yeah. And he really understands it. The Bass on Titles really highlights his like
how much he understands
a fundamental like understanding of filmmaking. He's very competent when it comes to that.
That was actually I think the most interesting part of the documentary.
Yeah.
Is just hearing him actually talk about it and see just how much he knows what he's doing.
Exactly, yeah. And after that I watched his very highly acclaimed short film Why Man Creates, which also very much illustrates his understanding of the creative process and filmmaking and everything like that. It's absolutely phenomenal. One of my favorite short films and one of my favorite films ever.
And I watched Scooby-Doo, Legend of the Phantasaur.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. Go watch Why Man Creates by Saul Bass. It's very good.
Scooby-Doo, Legend of the Phantasaur, good actually.
Scooby-Doo, Legend of the... Do people not like Legend of the Phantom Saur?
No, it's one of the higher rated Scooby-Doo movies. It's just all the Scooby-Doo movies are pretty lowly rated. I really enjoyed it. It's goofy. It's got some pacing and structural issues, real bad, but most Scooby-Doo movies do. But I don't know. I can't not enjoy these Scooby-Doo movies. The energy and that the animated characters and the cast have is great. I finally had the context to the Shaggy bar fight scene. It was so good. It was literally amazing.
Dude, I think I caught like half of this movie.
I loved it.
I really loved it. I can't wait to see the rest of it.
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
It's funny. Okay, last few movies, guys.
We're almost done. We watched on the 19th.
Doubt.
Fantastic. Jolly Moses. I watched. I put it on my watch list a while back because Amy Adams and Philip Seymour Hoffman were in it. And like, yes. And we finally watched it. And wow.
Yeah, no, I literally, I think this is one of like I added this to my repertoire of like perfect movies. I think it executes exactly what it wants to, and the performances are fantastic. Roger Deakins' cinematography is fantastic. It's a great movie.
Like,
love it.
wow.
Yeah.
So many of like every scene in this is outstanding. The actors
The performances, man.
are literally some of the greatest actors of all time, giving some of the greatest performances of all
I think
time.
Amy Adams is one of the best of all time.
Yes.
I don't know about that. She's great though.
The story, like the way it's written, is fantastic. Like,
Indeed.
I love the way the story unfolds.
It's really smartly written. I love
Like it's so cool. It doesn't even like I said in my review, and like Rebecca said in her review, it really doesn't come together at all until like the final scene.
I wouldn't say at all.
Well, like not like it doesn't
completely
come together.
Yeah.
The story would be very like you never have a finished sense of story until that very last scene.
Like a good movie ending or something. Like it's a good movie.
But
yeah.
Man, outstanding.
Go watch
Doubt.
Good stuff.
It's on HBO.
I gave it a 10 out of 10.
There's like literally no reason to not go watch Doubt. It's PG-13 for thematic material.
I was about to say, if you're not old enough to watch Doubt, then don't watch Doubt, but it is good. Very good.
Then yesterday I logged A Brighter Summer Day. I had been watching through it for a while now because I wanted to do something with it. I was breaking it down into kind of a mini-series, if you will. Because it's 4 hours long, and I wanted to watch it with my girlfriend, and she would never, ever watch that.
Wow.
No, I mean, for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
I thought it would probably be a good movie to split into a miniseries, and it actually was. It had really good like breaks at a good amount of time. So
yeah.
I broke it into 9 episodes, and I really enjoyed it. It's a fantastic piece of filmmaking.
It really is. Shout out to Edward Yang. He was killing the film game on A Brighter Summer Day.
I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. And then last night, before we recorded this, before we snoozed and came down here to record, we watched 3:10 to Yuma, the James Mangold 2007 one. And this was the first time watching it. I've never seen the old 3:10 to Yuma, but this was fantastic. And I've heard that the old one's better, so now I'm very interested to see that one too. But yeah, good performances. It's got Christian Bale and Russell Crowe in it. They're both killing it. Russell Crowe is absolutely destroying this role, man,
dude,
in the best way.
I think my biggest problem with the movie overall is that what it has with the 2 leads is really, really good.
Yeah.
But it does not spend nearly enough time, in my opinion, on it.
I don't know. Like, I see that being like a problem for it, and especially at the beginning of the movie, like I wasn't nearly as into it.
Half, which is an hour, was just not that interesting.
But like the latter half of this is like top tier.
No,
amazing.
it's really great, but I don't know. I didn't fully like it because I felt like it was kind of a wasted potential of some outstanding performances and a really neat idea for a story. I gave it 4 out of 5. It was still really great.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. I'm still very tempted to bump Ford v Ferrari up a half star. James Mangold, the man, I love.
But yeah, that's
what we watched.
That was like a month's worth of movies.
This is like one of our longest episodes. Oh my gosh.
That was no, this isn't one of our longest episodes.
Well, one of, not our longest by a lot, but still.
But whew, a lot of really good movies.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not too much, because this was a What We Watched episode, there's not too much to say in closing. We hope you guys had a good time while we were off gallivanting through work.
Indeed.
Go watch some good movies. We mentioned a lot of what I think are absolutely fantastic movies. A lot of my new favorite movies we watched for the first time in this month period.
Indeed.
Go check them out if you're old enough. Phantom Thread, Licorice Pizza, Doubt, Angel's Egg.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot of really good stuff that I fully recommend you go check out. Hopefully next week we'll be back with like an episode.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
That's my hope. Fingers crossed. If I can drag Robbie into doing it.
Wow. But yeah, have a good week, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.